My name's Fraser Anderson, and I make Orkney chairs and other Orkney furniture. I used to work for a craftsman in Orkney, but 4.5 years ago I got made redundant because he was going to retire. I learned to do the chair backs with him, which is the straw work, and I went to the college in Orkney, and they sent a guy from Newcastle to tutor me one-to-one just to do the furniture cabinet making side of it, to keep the tradition alive. So I started up my own business. When I started doing the new designs, I started doing things like the corner Orkney chair, a round back Orkney chair, and a straw panelled Orkney chair, just like this one here, which is, again, originally in the olden days the straw backs were done to keep the cold drafts out and the warmth from the peat fires in. But since the chair backs are a natural material, they'll mould to your own shape over time, and that's the idea behind them. Well, once you have your chair frame's made and you put your finish on, it's ready for the chair back. The first row is nailed on to the frame, and then thereon you just shape the back as it goes. There's no chigs or templates for any chair back. It's all done by look of the eye and the feel for it itself. It'll take about 4 sheafs of glowy straw, which is clean straw, into a chair back, a standard chair back. And then that all has to be stripped and cleaned, which the boys are doing now, and the leaves and stems have to all be pulled off, and then that goes into the chair back then. But it's all time. There's 100 hours in a standard Orkney chair, so it's a lot of time involved into it. But as far as the actual chair back goes, you just bite onto the next row. It's actually one continuous rope all the way to the top, and you just keep on adding into the centre. And the pipe's actually just to hold it together rather than a diameter. It's all done for the feel for it. Originally, in the olden days, it was known as the poor man's chair because they couldn't afford their own furniture from the mainland, and they would always just use the materials available to them, whether it was the straw from the locally grown fields, which was cut with a binder, not the combine harvester, which is the old-fashioned method. And then what they would have done was use driftwood from the shore. And then this was obviously had to be dried out, but it all depended what came ashore, whether it was an old fish or creel box or just a couple of old planks. They would just use what they could. The thing I like the most about it is being able to pick a piece of driftwood up out the sea after the storms have been, and then being able to leave it outside for a couple of months, let it dry, then get it cut up into sizes, put it in your hot room, leave it to dry, let it crack, warp, split, do anything that it's going to do before it goes into the chairs. Then 2 years later, work on the piece of driftwood. Usually it'll be several pieces because you usually don't get a bit big enough for a whole chair, and then produce a chair out of it, which then is going to sit in somebody's home for another 100 years. And that's definitely the best thing, because that Orkney chair then is entirely from Orkney. So as far as tradition goes, it's great to be able to do it exactly the same way as they did it in the olden days. And being able to produce a chair full time for the way that they used to have to do it as a necessity is great, and it's a great privilege to be able to do that.